With 3 documented homicides under his belt, Gregory Stewart has proven himself to be a cold-hearted killer among his peers. But in a city where killers come a dime a dozen, Stewart's enemies are just as ruthless. In early 2010, a rivalry between Stewart's 39ers gang and an 8-ward gang called ROD was brewing. One member in particular, a man known as Puggy, managed to get Stewart's attention. But Stewart would take any member he could get. According to Stewart, the rivalry started when one of his vehicles was targeted by a gunman while it was parked in ROD territory. Luckily, he was not in the vehicle at the time. Stewart was furious over the shooting and began threatening ROD members. These threats were not taken lightly. One night, Stewart and other members of the 39ers were hanging outside of the Sports View after a night of partying. Gunshots rang out between members of Stewart's group and members of ROD. Evans "Easy" Lewis, a member of the 39ers, was wounded in the shootout but managed to survive. For Stewart, the war was on. On May 11 of 2010, the rivalry between the 39ers and ROD became deadly. Gregory Stewart learned that ROD members had been spotted hanging outside of a store not far from where his vehicle was targeted a few weeks prior. It was the break he had been waiting for. According to Stewart's version of events, him and Ashton Pound Price went to the 8th ward, hoping to catch one of the members outside. Stewart was driving a Ford Taurus that he called the Homicide. He circled the area and waited for his opportunity. It came when one of the members walked away from the group with a female. Stewart stalked the couple as they walked to their destination. The couple turned down a side street and stopped at a house near the corner of the block. Stewart parked his vehicle and watched as the woman entered the home while the victim waited on the porch. At this moment, Stewart claims that he and Ashton Pound Price ran around the corner, catching the victim by surprise, unloading 2 high-powered rifles into the man. However, Gregory Stewart could not convince a jury that Price had helped him commit the murder. Ashton Price was found not guilty in the murder of Rayshawn Jones. Just 8 days later, on May 19, 2010, Stewart participated in a brazen double shooting on 2 rival gang members out of the Calliope projects. He and other members of the G Strip spotted a man named Jamal Smith, who was believed to have murdered one of their associates while he was reporting to probation in Mid-City. Stewart convinced one of his partners, whom had a good relationship with Smith, to stay and stall him while he rushed back to 3rd and Galvez to retrieve weapons. Stewart met up with Terrius Tieredoni and McCoy Rat Walker at Taylor Park in the G Strip neighborhood, who happily came along for the ride and a chance to get revenge on Smith. They were armed with the same high-powered rifles that Stewart claimed were used in the murder just a week prior. Owney and Walker hid in the back of the minivan as the group headed back to Mid-City. With the help of the associate Stewart left at the scene, they tracked the victim to the vicinity of this courthouse. The group staked out the area as the man waited for his ride. The driver was a man named Lester Green, who was accompanied by a female friend. As Smith and his group pull away, members of Stewart's group begin to have second thoughts and become spooked by the heavy police presence in the area. But Stewart is not willing to let Smith get away. He gives the go-ahead, and they make their move just a few blocks away. They pull alongside the victim's vehicle at the intersection of Dahimi Court and South Rendon Streets and jump out wielding the high-powered rifles. The female passenger exits the vehicle and takes off running. More than 20 shots are unloaded through the windshield of the vehicle. Jamal Smith survived, but the driver Lester Green was killed in the incident. Again just a week later, and still in May of 2010, Stewart would get a shot at revenge on another rival. This time, the target was a man named Elton Fields, also known as Bo. Bo was allegedly one of the gunmen who got away after the April 12 shooting at the Wing Shack, killing 2 of Stewart's associates. On May 27, Gregory Stewart and T. Red spotted a vehicle known to have been driven by Daniels at this convenience store near the Desire. While the man was inside shopping, Stewart sat outside, orchestrating his murder. He makes a phone call to one of his associates, a man named Leroy Price. Stewart tells Price that he and T. Red have Fields in their sights, but he needs a lookout. He knows exactly where Fields is headed, and his plan is to meet him there. Stewart and T. Red wait around the corner for word that Fields has left the store. When the phone call comes, the 2 men exit their vehicles and wait for Fields to walk into their hands. As the vehicle approaches the stop sign, Stewart watches as T. Red fires an AK-47 through the windshield of the vehicle. The man jumps into the back seat of the vehicle in an attempt to escape the gunfire. As the vehicle rolls through the stop sign, T. Red approaches the vehicle and walks alongside it, firing round after round into the back seat of the vehicle. The man would not survive. Stewart and the 39ers head to Miami to celebrate Memorial Day weekend. While they were there, Stewart learned that the man they killed was actually not Elton Bo Fields, but instead was a man named Donald Daniels. But to Stewart, a kill is a kill.